Welcome to snowy Colorado. What better place and time than to test the 2025 Range Rover Velar than Colorado in January after a snowstorm? I was fascinated to get into the Velar to see how it compared to its bigger sibling, the Range Rover, because it looks a lot alike. But there are some similarities and there are some differences. So let's take a look around. What you're likely to notice first are these narrower headlights here. They're still the LED, the really good looking LED headlight on the Velar, and it's got a slightly different grille, which I'll show you a close-up of here in a minute. This particular model is cool. It's got the 19-inch wheels, and I love this brushed metal. It's kind of polished, but also kind of matted, so it's really pretty. I like it, and it should look really nice in this light, I hope. We've got a little Range Rover logo here. Moving across the back, we've got this cool detail here. It looks almost, it's almost metallic, but it's like hematite, if you know what that is. It looks like that quite a bit, and I hope you'll pardon all the water spots. By the way, I tried to wash the car as best I could. But one thing I want to note about the Velar that's cool, that is like its larger sibling, is it's got an air suspension. So right now, the height that the SUV is at is the low entrance, what they call access height. So it's a lot lower. And as you get in and get sorted and go on your way, the car lifts and you can actually make it go higher depending on the type of circumstance that you're in. So that's really fun. This is only a 2-row SUV. And so if you're planning on carrying a lot of kids around all the time, or grown-ups for that matter, know that that is not the purview of the Velar. Let's talk about the back end of the Velar because it's really nice looking. It too has the cool LED lights. I'll turn on the brake lights and get some video of that for you too, but it's got the nice badging here all across the rear lift gate, which is really cool. It's just such a modern thing, and I like having that as opposed to just all the little badges all over the back of the car. This is a lift gate. Watch out, I've got stuff in the back, so it's a little messy. But look, who doesn't carry their hat and their boots around and their scraper? I hope you have your scraper in your cars this time of year. But there's ample room here for several carry-ons and backpacks or a few full-size pieces of luggage too. But let's take a look inside and I'll show you some of the other similarities of its bigger sibling. So let's take a look at the inside of the Velar. Pardon the dirty floor mats. It is a lot like its Range Rover siblings, in that it's got a beautiful color scheme inside. It's a nice combination of light and dark. You have the leather seats that are perforated with little details on there. Now these seats are heated and ventilated, so that's a really nice feature. And it does have a 12.3-inch touchscreen here, which we'll get up close and personal with here in a minute. Most of the controls though that you'll use in the Velar are on the steering wheel here. So, and they're on the touch screen too. But as you can see, we don't have a lot of buttons and knobs. We just have this gear shift, which I've been learning to love as I've had time with the Velar. But yeah, it's a very minimal interior. So I want to talk a little bit about the multimedia system here in the 2025 Range Rover Velar. The screen is pretty well organized. You can use their shortcuts here on the side to adjust your climate control, and if you want to go to Apple Play or other menu items, you can do that. Sorry, Apple CarPlay. And then the passenger has their seat controls and climate controls over there. But you can organize this however you want, and right now it's going to be a little generic, but look, you even have everything from your wheel status, the differential, weight sensing. You can do all kinds of things, and it's fun to see how you can get your fuel economy. Some people really like to game that and see how they can improve their miles per gallon. You can also here figure which types of media you want to listen to. We're going to go to the home screen here. We're going to go back here. And I do like their navigation system. It's fairly easy to use and is not intimidating, especially once you get used to it. So here you can determine the level of driver safety features, advanced driver safety features that you have. So this will turn off your speed limit warning, but will keep on forward collision warning and your lane assistance. And then here, if you just want it with low interference, you can do it here, and it's just the forward collision warning. I love this adjustability because sometimes I find that I might fight with the lane assistance systems, which is actually not the case. This one's pretty good, but I don't need to hear all the notifications and alerts throughout the course of my day driving. And if I do, if I'm getting tired or if I'm stuck in traffic, then I can activate all those things and and be a safer driver. I only wish I had some water around because I've activated the wade sensing system, and I just really want to see what happens when I want to go across a little stream. I don't have any streams here that aren't pretty icy right now, so we're not going to do that. But I also wanted to show you this. So I've gotten in the car and it's lifted up to normal, and then here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to press this off-road button, and we're going to see if I can show you how it lifts up. So the front end lifts first, and then the rear end, and then it levels out. It's pretty cool. All right, now we're gonna go all the way down to access. It's kind of lowering overall. It's not a thing that this camera is very skilled at, but anyway, yeah, there we go. Here is also where we have some off-roading information, and for people who may wonder if this car is capable, it's very capable. Like we showed you before, it does have that wade sensing, so you can conquer rivers. You can figure out exactly which differential is activated, and all of your degrees of lean and all of that will help you be a better off-roader. And we're going to see, this is your hill descent control, which is really nice. When you're going down, you can take your foot off the accelerator, and the car's only going to let you go a certain mile an hour, and you can set that within the system. So it kind of allows you to do things like pay attention to where you're going on the trail, knowing that the car is not going to accelerate out of control. It's really cool. I also have to show you this. It's neat. Whenever you activate different drive modes on the screen, it shows up in the driver information display. The driver information screen is also all digital, so that means that you can cycle through different types of information as you're driving. You can set up your adaptive driver safety system, and then as you drive, it will show you your miles per gallon for your trip as you're driving, so that's kind of nice. And of course, how many miles you're driving and your average speed, how much gas you have, or how many miles you have left on this tank of gas, so that's helpful. Also, you'll note that it is 29 degrees, which is maybe why I'm going through this video so quickly, because it is cold out. Do I want to activate low traction launch? That's probably a yes, but we're going to test that out in a little bit. Oh, and I do want to tell you, I like this little energy impact readout. It's cool. So it'll show you with any given accessory that you might be using how that's affecting your energy, literally. Here you go. So let's try this. We're going to turn on our heated steering wheel, and then look, we have these cute little bars lit up. Now we're going to turn on, we're going to turn on our seat heat. We're going to turn that sucker all the way up because it is cold out. I don't know if I mentioned that 500 times. That doesn't impact our energy as much as I thought. But then what if I crank the heat? Oh, there we go. It's going to take up some energy, and if I turn on both the defrosts, now we're really going. Cool to know though, right? Oh, and speaking of defrost, I don't know if you can see it. Here we go. Look at that. These little filaments in the windshield make the windshield heated. So when you turn on your defrost, you will turn on these little cool little filaments that will heat the windshield and melt the frost and the snow in a jiff. So awesome. Below the multimedia screen, you have a wireless charger, and you also have a wireless charge port if you want to use that, if your phone's not compatible. And then we have storage in here and 2 cup holders, and they have these rubbery, grippy, kind of blister looking things that perform well. I have no complaints about how it's held my beverage. The back seat of the Velar is equally hospitable. There's plenty of leg room, and it does have this the cup holders built into the armrest here, and we have 2 sets of lower tether anchors here, and then 1 top tether over the center seat, so you could have 3 child safety seat positions. We have heated seats back here, which is so nice, and 2 USB-C ports for charging. Even the floor mats have pretty details in the Range Rover Velar. Here we go. Here's kind of a close-up of the seating. And we also have a really nice sunroof that extends back to the back seat. So even passengers in the back seat get that light and bright and airy feeling in this little SUV. Just another look at a couple of the little details here. I do love this door handle and the little swoop here on the door. If I can pick one little beef with the Velar, it's that, you know, the Range Rover, the regular size Range Rover has just a beautiful airy interior, and that includes very tall windows. the windows in the Velar are really short, so even when you're leaning in to like get your receipt from the ATM or your food from the drive-through, I have a tendency, I actually kind of hit my head here. Also, this is really high, so I have a hard time comfortably finding a place to rest my elbow because I feel like the elbow rest is a little low. So proportionally, it's not something you can't make work, but you have to work to make it work, if you know what I mean. All right, you guys, it is so cold out that my little suction cup won't stick to the glass, and so the driving video that I was hoping to get for you all this morning isn't going to happen. So in order to be safe, I'm just going to sit here and tell you a little bit about the Range Rover Velar and the drive experience. The Range Rover Velar that I'm driving has a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, and it's plenty to get you where you want to go. When you accelerate, when you hit the throttle, you get that immediate response, kind of that kick in the pants that we all like from a turbocharged engine. That said, it kind of tops out a little bit. I like to say when you reach cruising altitude. Now you do have dynamic mode, which helps you feel like you get a little more power all around, and it is really fun because you also get kind of this throaty noise from accelerating, which is nice. I do wish the steering firmed up a little bit more when you're in dynamic mode, but this car is made to keep you comfortable and happy, or at least it feels like that's its mission, is to keep you comfortable and happy, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want a lot more speed, a lot more possible speed, maybe look at that 6-cylinder engine. And lastly, we'll talk a little bit about the pricing real quick. $63,000 is the base price of the Range Rover Velar. This car that I'm testing is priced at $76,115, and that includes a cold weather package, which gives you the heated and ventilated cooled front seats, heated rear seats, a washer on the headlights, and the cool heated windscreen with the little filaments. Range Rover calls it windscreen. I love that. But it's the windshield, and it's got the little filaments in it that heat up the windshield for you instead of blowing air out the vents, which is very effective and a lot of fun, and maybe a little pricey to replace, but I like it. And this Velar also has the dynamic handling pack, which gives you the customizable drive setup and the adjustable air suspension. We also have a technology package that gives you a head-up display and a few other things. So, and 21-inch wheels are added on in addition to those packages and a few other things. So that brought the price up quite a bit. And of course, you can customize if you were to choose to build your own, or find a model that didn't have as many bells and whistles if you wanted to keep the price down. You guys, thanks for coming along on this little twilight tour of the 2025 Range Rover Velar. I hope you learned a lot. It's a beautiful little car with a lot of special surprises inside. If you're looking for more details, check out my written review at agirlsguidetocars.com. See you next time.